I'm Cindy Ross. I'm Publicity and Marketing Chairperson for the Strollers, the community theater in residence at Maplewood, the Bergdorf Center at Durand Road in Maplewood. And today I brought with me several people, several cast members, and a few of our production crew members. We're going to talk about the show that we're performing now, called God of Carnage by Yasmina Reza. The show will start to perform actually in November, the 8th and the 9th and the 10th, and the 15th and the 16th. So I'd like to introduce Judy French. Judy is doing our costumes for this show. Judy, how long have you been a stroller?
All my life.
All your life.
It feels like it. Since the late 70s. I hate to admit to that. I was very young when I joined Strollers.
Like 2, 3?
Yeah, something
okay.
like that.
Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's really been a long time, and I think it's a sort of group that you come to and you find out that you stay, as we all can attest to, I think. So I've been a stroller for a very long period of time, and it's been a great association, to say the least.
Okay, and what are you doing for this production?
For this show, I'm doing costumes. And this is our third time to work together, Cindy, because Cindy's also the director of the show. I don't know that you mentioned that before,
I did not.
No, so Cindy is the director, and I'm doing costumes for the show. And this is a really kind of unique show to do, because there's just 4 characters, and they all just wear one costume, which is great. But the costumes really have to say who they are, so I'm hoping that when it's mounted that you'll see that you can tell immediately who's who in this show. So it's really kind of a fun show for me to be doing, and not too demanding, because I don't have to do 100 different costumes like we did for Anne Frank and
right.
the Heiress.
And this is unique because once they're on stage, that's it. They
it.
never go off stage
They
to
never
change
go off.
costumes.
No, so hopefully nothing happens while they're on stage. They don't, you know,
It better
have
not
a
get
tear or anything like that.
Oh, that would...
Hopefully nobody gets thrown up on.
Oh,
No, well, that's a secret.
No, don't give everything away,
No.
Travis.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, also with us tonight is Glenn Albright. Glenn, how long have you been a stroller?
I'm coming up on 17 years now.
No
My
kidding.
wife, Mary, and I joined the stroller 17 years ago.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
an accomplishment too. Mary's and your wife's part of the group as well.
Yes, sometimes she does photography. She's been in some of the workshops. She was in my production of Sweeney Todd. She was in the chorus, because she has a wonderful singing voice. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
And she did take our headshots for this production.
Yes, she
Well,
did.
that's good. Very important. We need the headshots in the lobby to, tell the audience who's who. What is your job on this show, though?
Basically, as the producer, I'm overseeing all the department heads. Costumes, set design, publicity, all of those kind of things come under the umbrella of the producer. So I just try and make sure that the director can just focus on directing and not be bothered with all the other extemporaneous things that need to be done.
And how's it going?
It's going fine. I am enjoying it immensely. I'm very busy, and that fits my personality because I really like to be busy.
Have you produced before?
No, I haven't.
So this is the first time.
Yeah,
He's
this
doing a
is the
great
first time.
job. He really
He
is. So what do you think is one of the biggest challenges for a producer for this show?
I would just say coordination, making sure we have people to run the front of house, making sure bios are in, making sure the set design is coming together, just taking the time to make sure that everything is running smooth.
Yeah, that's a little too much to ask, isn't it? Does anything ever really run smooth?
I think so.
As long as we don't tell the audience, as long as we don't, broadcast to the audience that something's wrong, we're in good shape, right?
We're in great shape.
Right? They'll never know. They're not sitting there with a script, right? We hope not. All right. Also with me is Dina Daniel. Dina is playing Veronica, one of the wives of one of the couples. Dina, how long have you been a stroller?
I've been a stroller since 2008, and I know exactly when that is because the night of our dress rehearsal was the night Obama won the election. So I know exactly how long I've been a stroller, and Glenn was the director on that show, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
I remember that show very well.
I was in the chorus. It was
So
wonderful.
you perform in musicals as well as non-musicals.
I do, yes.
Do you
I
have a-
enjoy both very much.
Do you have a favorite? I mean, would you rather
Well,
perform?
I sing with a jazz ensemble, so I get that satisfied with that. So I enjoy getting to be in straight plays in theater. Musicals have their own vibe, their own pluses and minuses, their own demands. So I get to have a little of both. Apart from the stroller, the straight plays with the strollers and the singing with the chorus, but sometimes it comes together and I'm in a musical, which is a lot of fun. I really like being in the chorus, though, because you get all the fun of being in a musical and on the camaraderie, and you get to sing the beautiful music and learn the harmonies, but you don't have the burden of such a large part. And I think the chorus is often seen as a lesser role or something that people don't want to do, and that's my favorite, is to be in the chorus.
The chorus
It's
is
so
very
much fun.
hard work. Chorus is,
So
and you
much fun.
get to be in almost every song in the show.
Yes, you get to play lots of different roles usually. You have more than one part. You get to change costumes. You get to work backstage to help the others a little bit. You get a little bit of everything. I think the chorus is a lot of fun.
So what is it about this production or this play that you enjoy?
Oh, wow. This play is very intense, but in a good way. It's cerebral, but fun. The characters are so flawed and trying so hard not to be that they're endearing. And even though I think you would get exasperated with these people in real life, to see them work out their psychodramas on stage is very enjoyable, and I think everyone can relate to all of these sort of archetypes that are presented in the different characters.
What do you think has been the biggest challenge for you with this part?
With this part, Veronica Novak, she wants so badly to be right about everything, and I think we're all guilty of that sometimes. So to let her sincerity come through without looking ridiculous. But you've got to let a little ridiculous in there just for the comedy part of it, But at her core, she's very sincere, and that's the challenge, is to show her as this sincere, really, really dedicated person to her family, but also show her as going a little overboard at times and coming a little unhinged sometimes.
She does, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
she does.
Just
But
this
she's
side of it.
at her core, she's a good person, and I like her.
Great. Now, Travis is sitting here on my right. Yes, that's my, yeah, this is my left. This is my right. Travis Garcia. Travis, how long have you been a stroller?
It's been about 3 or 4 years now.
Really?
Yeah, time flies.
It does. And
And-
what was the first show that you did with
I
strollers?
had the pleasure of working with many of the people you see on stage right now. Cindy as the director, which was a great experience. It was a good way to join the group and kind of get a feel for the kind of work we do and how the performances are run, which was great. Also had the pleasure of acting on stage with some of the people here as well, Glenn and Dina. So, and I believe Judy did the costumes.
Yeah.
I've dressed you many
Ah,
times.
okay. Hopefully it's easy at this point.
And what show?
This was The Heiress a few seasons ago. I don't remember the exact year at this point. Maybe you know better than I. Obama was already president.
Yeah.
So
Obviously.
I believe
Um,
it was 2009.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
So 4 years.
2010?
No, I think it was.
No, I think it was 2010 actually.
And
Anyway.
coincidentally, for that show, Judy actually won a community theater award for
Oh,
the
that's
costume.
right.
She
Yeah,
won a
that's
Perry
right.
Award.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
So-
it was fun. It was fun. I had a lot of help.
Wasn't
Someone
it
made
wasn't
the
for
red
dressing
dress.
Travis
No, no.
specifically, but it was for dressing the whole show.
Right. But that being such a period piece, it really got to demonstrate a lot of the different costumes that were out there. But
Right, and
with
Glenn
this
was in
show,
that production also.
Correct.
Yes,
Right,
Glenn
yeah.
was
Yeah,
in that
actually, the
production.
men's costumes were challenging in that
Mhm.
because trying to find them was difficult. But I think we did pretty well with it, so it was great.
and now
And
this one's a
fun.
whole different challenge.
Yes.
One costume, and it's got to be right, like you said.
That's
yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
it has to show off so much about the character right off the bat.
Right. Okay. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll finish talking with Travis and the rest of the people involved in the show.
Express yourself. Explore teen summer reading at your library.
Hi, we're back. It's Cindy Ross with the Strollers, and I've brought some people who are involved with the production of God of Carnage that will be happening in November at the Bergdorf Center for the Performing Arts at 10 Durand Road in Maplewood. We're going to pick up the conversation with Travis again. Now, Travis, what was it about this role that you found the most challenging, do you think?
I think the character, Alan, could easily become somebody that you get the wrong impression about if you're not careful with him. He can easily become somebody you're turned off by if you don't tame down some of the emotions, some of the lines, and really find those moments where you can show his real side, but also show that he can be human. And as Dina was talking about earlier, every character kind of has their flaw, and if you're not careful, it could easily, turn the wrong way. So you want the audience to kind of buy into what the character is doing, and there are those moments where you're like, I can relate to that person. So you have to make sure that you're playing those moments right.
Right. Now, we haven't talked really about what the plot of the show is, so I suppose we should talk a little bit about that. It's two sets of parents, and one of their sons has hit the other one's son in the mouth with a stick, and that child has lost 2 teeth, 2 incisors. So the parents decide that they should probably have a conversation about how they should handle it, about what perhaps punishment should be, or, along those lines, what they think the proper way to handle the situation is. So we are meeting these 4 people almost as they are meeting each other. So we don't have any preconceived notions, and certainly the couples don't have any preconceived notions about who they're meeting. They just know that they're meeting, the parents of these other people. So I guess a question is, how do you approach this as a performer? How do you go in, and approach this situation? It's a delicate situation. It's sort of a, situation that we can definitely see what happened in real life. Is there anything from your own personal experience that you would bring into the rehearsal with this, the process with this, or do you just keep something like that outside?
Well, I think everyone shies away from confrontation, particularly when they're not sure they're completely in the right. And this is one of those situations where a confrontation is inevitable and necessary, and they have to be the grown-ups in this situation. They have to decide what's the best way to handle this. And of course, like a lot of situations between adults, it devolves into childishness. So, but I like your point about where the audience is meeting these people at the same time the characters are meeting each other. That's very true. We're sort of taking each other on a journey to get to know these people, because no one knows anyone when the curtain rises. So it's an interesting journey of the face you prepare to meet, the faces that you meet versus what's really underneath. And I think Alan has less of a face that he shows, and the others more so. But as you get to know the characters, you start to see that his cynicism is probably a lot more honest than the face that the other people are showing. It's a nice journey through these characters' thought processes and lives.
Yeah, it is an interesting format because, as you mentioned, we're meeting everybody at the same time, and it's an hour and a half course of, just block of time that it's a little picture into these people's lives and their child's lives. So it's very interesting the way it's written and how you could bring that to the show. Now,
What some people might not know about this specific production is it was written in a different language.
Right.
And we've talked about this several times about how the translation, in this instance, it's not I don't believe that it's a terrible translation, but it's a difficult translation. The manner of speaking seems a
Sentence
little,
structure.
yeah, a little bit it's a little bit difficult. It's not a natural way that you would speak. So, and also in the script itself, it doesn't. If you were to compare this with, let's say, a Neil Simon play, where there's lots of stage directions, it always sets up the joke. It tells you exactly what's going to happen, what you should expect. It almost tells you what to expect in a Neil Simon play, as opposed to here, if you read it and you might not have seen it or might not have heard anything about it, you would think this is a heavy drama, and it certainly is not that. Although the subject matter is serious, it's certainly not a drama. It's a comedy. Although not for small children.
No.
There's
Certainly
some
not.
salty language,
Yes.
but certainly nothing that someone hasn't heard before. But we don't want to influence small children with that. So
Well, how many times have we seen in real life where parents will run out onto a sports field with their 8 and 9-year-olds? How come my son or daughter is not playing? I've heard stories where a referee was almost run over because the father was chasing the referee in his van. I mean, this is wonderful because I sum it up quite simply as adults acting like children, and it's a lot of fun. And it's to the point in that, yeah, this stuff happens in today's society.
it does. That's
Very
kind of the
topical.
sad part about it.
Just about that, I have to tell you, my grandson bit another child at
Oh.
school.
Oh my goodness.
The other kid had provoked him the day before, you know. But today I was telling my daughter, I said, "Oh, you have to come see this play. It's really good." And she said, "What is it about?" And I was telling her, and I said, "And you should bring." And she said, "Oh, the other parents, perhaps."
Right?
So,
Oh, my
you know,
goodness.
they had their problems there. How do parents deal with this when the kids act out? You know,
Right, and I think that you always believe that you know how you would behave in a certain
Yeah.
situation, and then when it really happens to you and you have to deal with other people's opinions and behaviors, it's really difficult to maybe control your own behavior. You know, you hear something or you see something or you feel like you're not being heard or you're not being seen, and then that side that you try to keep hidden away just surfaces.
I mean, it's very topical right now, especially with everything going on in our culture, distractions, but technology, all kinds of things that come into play where it's easy to let family matters and things like that go ignored or by the wayside if you're not careful and not really paying attention to the other people that have opinions as well.
It's true.
I'm always reminded of something my friend said, and I don't know whether he was quoting someone else, but he said, emotions don't mature, only our responses to them. And I think this play really shows that out, that emotions, these people, the same anger you feel at 4, you feel at 40. But you know how to deal with it then, except that these people kind of let loose of that a little bit. So I
They're
think it's
pushed
really
to those extremes.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
pushed, but also for the sake of drama, they sort of let it out a bit. And I think it's sort of cathartic for an audience member to let someone else behave childishly because you're not allowed to in real life. So that's part of the release and fun of theater, is that you get to see adults saying things and doing things and behaving in ways that you wish you could in that situation, but you can't, but on stage you can. That's part of the fun of being in the play as well.
It's true. It's very
Cindy,
true.
what was your greatest challenge here? You've asked all of us.
My greatest challenge
in
was
directing.
I always think as a director, casting is 95% of your job. And if you do it right, if you do it well, your responsibility is, of course, to move the people around on stage so that it's a pretty picture, but just to basically get out of everybody's way and let them act and sort of guide them as to where you want it to go. And I think that for this specific production, I was really, really hands-off because I believe that the people that were cast knew what to do. They were experienced on stage, and they're also intelligent people, and maybe they had something they could draw from in their own personal experience, or maybe they didn't. But if I gave a little suggestion that this is the way I wanted it to happen, that's usually what happened. But I like to be more hands-on, so I guess for me the challenge was just to step back, and let it happen, and it has. It's happened in a really it's a really tight production. It's a really fun production. So I think we need to wrap it up here. And what I want to tell you is that the production, again, is God of Carnage by Yasmina Riza. It is happening at the Bergdorf Center for the Performing Arts in Maplewood on November 8th and 9th at 8 p.m., November 10th at 2 p.m., and then again the following weekend, November 15th and 16th at 8 p.m. You can visit our website, www.thestrollers.org, and get further information. Or you can call the box office, 973-761-8453, and leave a reservation on that. Or you could also visit Brown Paper Tickets, and the event number is 472249. It's $16 for seniors and students. It's $16 for adults, and seniors and students are $13. So we hope to see you at the theater.
Come join us. We're a welcoming community.
It's great. It's the great way to spend an evening. It really is.